Hey guys, Jeff here, and today I wanted to talk to you about turning a plant into yarn. This is not a plant that is often talked about. In fact, I haven't found anything about doing it this specific way, which is why I wanted to share it with you guys out there in YouTube, being one of the best places that I know for learning and sharing skills. A lot of this idea came from watching some videos from Good and Basic. He had been talking about making yarn and therefore fabric out of this plant. So I hope that you see this and know that you've inspired me to journey down this path. The plant in question is called Indian hemp or hemp dogbane. I do not remember the botanical name off the top of my head, but I will leave that in the description. This plant is often gathered around anywhere from late fall to late winter. You want the plant to die back, and when it does, it gets, especially like this one here, this very nice reddish brown color. It can also be identified by these pods that it grows. It's related to milkweed, and so this is like a skinnier version of the milkweed pods. Now, this plant has a fiber that lies inside, and you can see from some of these stalks here that the skin will actually come off, and it has this fiber. Now, the best way to extract this, and I can link other videos down below, is just to crush this stem, because it has a very hard woody part inside that you can even see right there. But crush that, and once it's crushed, you can open it up and peel the woody part away from the actual fibers. When you do that, you get something like this, and you can already start to see how kind of fluffy it is. Now, some people like to process this to get the bark off. Quite frankly, the bark flakes off pretty easily, and at first I was removing the bark from the stems by scraping it off and then getting to this process and going on. But I've learned that my next step can actually get rid of the bark pretty well. So I would take these fibers, and I was gifted one moment. I was gifted a set of hand cards. And what I would do, and it doesn't take that much fiber. I think it was probably about 2 or 3 stems worth. But I would just lay them on, and I'm going to need this for the next thing I show you. But I would drag it across, and the fibers would catch in the little teeth here. And you might have seen my short video from some time back where I demonstrated actually doing the carding. And these are just a set of wool cards, but just like any other time that you card, where you are scraping across, and it's fluffing out the fibers, it is making the fibers all aligned the same way. And as I said, I found that doing this repeatedly also got not all, but a lot of the bark to come off of the fibers. Now, after I've carded this, and this is some that I have already carded pretty well, the next step was to get it off of the card so I could spin it. And the best way I found to do that actually involved using a chopstick. When it comes to wool or cotton, I understand that you just kind of roll this over on itself. Because these fibers are a bit shorter and weaker, I found it helped to lay a chopstick in the middle, and then you just kind of get those fibers up off of the front there, and you just roll along, and we're making what I believe is called a rolag, which is really just a tube of the fibers. Now, one of the first things that I do that's really unorthodox, I understand with a rolag, you don't want it too tight or compact. However, because of the strength issues that I was finding for spinning the Indian hemp, it doesn't seem to want to really catch together the way something like wool does. I would actually take this and roll it at least 2 or 3 times across the carder. What this does is it compacts the fibers, kind of tangles them together a little bit better so they hold together. From there, remove the chopstick, and you have a rolag. Once you have a rolag, you can use that with a drop spindle. And this was my drop spindle, where I just have a dowel running through a sewing spool with a cup hook on top. And I'm still learning, so I would just spin it Of course, it jumps out on camera, but spin it, get some twist going in there. And then I would do what's called parking and drafting. So after I get some spin in there, I would pull this apart, pull my row lag, and then you're basically turning it into about the thickness you want, letting the twist run up inside there. Once you've pretty much lost all the twists, spin some more, draft some more. Gotta be careful. It's really easy to get too thin and for it to come apart, and you have to go back and reattach things. But that, you can see there, is a single. Now, a single, from what I understand, can be good for weaving. I don't do a whole lot of weaving. I might need to try it once I do more of this. But I do a lot more of knitting and crocheting and nail bending. And so, for me, I said, I don't want to stop with this process. I filled this entire spindle up with a single, and then I wound it off into a center pull ball using a, I believe you call them nostipini, just a stick that you can wind around to make a center pull ball. That way I had both ends loose. Once I had both ends loose, I took those ends together, tied them together, hooked them on here, and I started spinning the other direction. If you notice, when I was spinning this, I'm spinning, let's see, looking from the top, I'm spinning counterclockwise. So when I did my reverse twist, I had to spin clockwise, and that makes things rather neutral. From there, again, showing that you can make a lot of your own tools, I had some plywood on hand, and I made this simple takedown nitty knotty. Saw one on Pinterest and said, why not make it myself? And I used that to wind off a skein. So this here is my finished product for now. I have not done any sort of washing it to set the twist. You can still see little bits of the bark here and there, but it feels soft. I would say almost cotton-like. I wanted to share this with you before I washed it, set the twist, and roll it into a ball. But I'm really excited to use this probably for some knit or crochet. But yeah, I didn't realize that you could take this plant, card it into a row lag, and then twist it into some yarn. Now, I mean, this looks like jute. I know a lot of bushcrafters will use jute for fire making. It looks like jute in its color and texture, but it's soft. I could see making some mittens or a hat or something out of this. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. I'll probably have to share that once I do. But at any rate, I just wanted to share my journey learning to turn that plant into this yarn. If you have any experience with this, or if you end up trying it, please let me know in the comments below. I love to hear about it, love to hear anyone doing things similar. And with that, guys, I'll talk to you later.